Privilege can sometimes be part of our daily life, making us omitting it and even avoid questioning us ourselves. Why is it like that? Why do I have this privilege? What part of my life affects? Hello, my name is Geronimo Campuzano. I'm a computer science student in Purdue University, and today I will be performing the reflection number 3 for collaborative leadership. Today we'll be talking about the privilege in the conception of the readings, also applied to my experience and how it has shaped my life, and most important, what considerations do we need to have when we are facing a privileged situation as leaders or even as people. So first of all, let's define what is privilege with the readings. So as Collins, privilege is an unearned advantage, something given to us by default, not because of our effort or merit, but because of the social group we belong to. This is the reference that Collins made to Francis Kendall's definition, which describes the privilege that having greater access to power or resources rather than the color of people in the same situation. And I want to make a big emphasis in this last part, in the same situation, because when you are defining privilege, you are not saying that, oh, you are a privileged person, so like because you did this, you have no merit on it. No, we have to recognize that being the equals condition, well, certain people have a built-in advantage rather than others. Like in this example, white people and people of color. What stood me most of the readings is also how easy it is to bypass the consciousness of this privilege. Collins explains that white people did not earn this disproportionate access to compassion and fairness. They just receive it as a byproduct of systematic racism and bias. So basically, privilege is not also what you get, it's also why you don't need to worry about. In the other lecture, Carvalho takes this argument that, I mean, if you accept those privilege without really thinking into them, how I mentioned at the start of the video, you're also contributing to that type of discrimination by privilege, even if you are not with the intention of it. So it's also our responsibility to take the whole perspective of why do we have this. Through all my life, I had some privilege that, I'm gonna be honest, they gave me a boost to accomplish what I have done today in life. So, for me, the privilege that I must recognize is education. I grew up in Colombia where access to higher education, let's say, is not granted for all families. It's not like the question is, hey, which one is your dream university? Oh, yeah, you can apply to that. No, the question really is, hey, can we afford the nearest university to you? So the reality is that most people can not go to university or they have to postergate and get a job to go university later. In my case, I was able to study in EAFIT University, which is I consider one of the top universities in Colombia, and also having this experience here, the exchange spirit in Purdue is a privilege I know not most of people had, and I have to take this experience, the best of that, to really get something out of it because yes, it's a privilege. And I want to make a parenthesis here because in my case, I was able to get into university in part because I got a scholarship, but also the way I got that scholarship was because I went to a really good high school with the effort of my parents. But there's also people that want to reduce that gap of privilege. In my case, a person I admire is David Bellis. He was the one that gave me the scholarship to study in EFIT University, and those type of people that gives opportunities to the people that do not have the resources to access through education, probably get a better life, health. Those type of people are the really that are making the change in society. They are closing those gaps, and they are doing the best to do it. At the same time, I would say that being born in a developing country, it's a lack of privilege in certain ways because lack of resources, education, opportunities. But I want to make emphasis that I'm very proud of my country and my nation. And yeah, probably relate this with something that Kawantis and Glesser says that In cross-cultural competence, the idea that engaging with different cultural environments build awareness and adaptability. Because my experience between moving the US and Colombia has changed my way to see the world in multiple angles, and probably giving me the mindset that, I mean, yeah, there's something that is given to you, but you can always change, be better. Something that really closes the gap. I mean, I was born in Colombia, but yeah, I had the opportunity to study in the US, probably work in the US. I'm working right now. So you can always change and look out for those opportunities, even if you lack of privilege. Exploring these fields, I want like also getting the reality of Colombia into it. So I haven't explored the racial privilege much, but also like in the readings, when person analyzed nearly 100 million traffic stops across the states and found black drivers were stopped more than white drivers. That were searched based on less evidence. That kind of data really make you put this thing into a concrete thing that is not just abstract. And it's not only in the US, in my own country, Colombia, the DANE, that is an institution of information, shows that the Afro descendants population faces multidimensional poverty approximately 11% points higher than the national average. So this is really a gap, not only like in the States, also in my country. And these realities exist in the place I grew up, and I didn't notice and like have the time to examine them. So it's like really good knowing those gaps are there to really, yeah, reflect on them. With the religious privilege, when I read Sculptor and he lists like the Christian privilege, I said like, okay, most part of Colombia is Catholic, so I guess nothing's happened. But no, again, the Defensoría del Pueblo in 2024 make a study where violations of religious freedom increases 31% between 2023 and 2024, and death threats against religious leaders rose by 50%. So this is also a threat to minority religious communities in my country. So here's the thing. Why do we need to learn all of this in a leadership course? Because we're leaders. We are gonna make decisions that it's not only gonna affect us, it's gonna affect other people or teams or organizations or communities and people that are gonna use probably our products. So if we don't understand what is privilege, we are risking making decisions that are probably gonna create more gaps into these people. Collins argues that privilege is not just about subconscious comfort, it's also the power to remain silent in the face of inequality. As leaders, silence is a choice, and if we take that choice, we are probably reinforcing what the system has already put, and we don't want that. Thank you so much.